So welcome everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. This is the last webinar of 2025, and today we're joined by the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust and their partner, Synergy Learning. So today we're really super excited to explore how digital learning is helping protect some of the planet's most important ecosystems in wetlands. So in this session, we're joined by Mary, who's the Learning Officer for the Wetland Learning Hub, who'll walk us through how WWT, together with Synergy Learning and Totara, have created an engaging, multilingual global learning community. So with that, Mary, would you mind moving the slide forward for me? So just a little bit of housekeeping. So yeah, this session is being recorded. So if there's something you are trying to write down really quickly to understand, don't worry, we'll send you the recording after the session. So if anyone's signed up for it, we'll automatically send you the recording. It's also going to be available in the Totara community, and you can continue the conversation there. So if you are watching this later or you have thoughts about it, feel free to post a question in the community as well. Mary, if you can move to the next slide for me. So this session, like I say, will be housed in the Totara community. That's just totara.community is the website or the URL. If you're not already a member of the Totara community, do come and join. We have lots of webinars. We have a big academy. We have lots of forums. We have workspaces. So if you do have questions about your Totara platform or you're trying to use Totara for the first time, it's a great place to go learn about how to use Totara, but also connect with people all over the world and come to webinars like these where we go behind the scenes and talk to people who are using Totara in their daily jobs. Mary, so one more slide. And also, if this is the first time you've heard of Totara, do have a look at totara.com. We are predominantly an LMS, but we work with partners all over the world. And today we're really happy to be joined by Synergy Learning, one of our longest and most successful Totara partners. And you can have a look at Synergy Learning's website. So John, if you want to post Synergy Learning's website in there as well, you're very welcome to. But without me talking much more, so Mary, would you mind introducing yourself and let us know about your role and what you do? And then also, John, if you could introduce yourself at this point as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Marie Schlenker, and I'm the project officer for the Wetland Learning Hub, which is WWT's online platform for wetland learning and training. And I'm very excited to be here with you today.
Thanks, Mary. And John, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. I'm Jonathan Clark. I'm an account manager at Synergy Learning. I'm also the account manager for the Wildfowl Wetlands Trust.
Thanks, John. And Mary, I would love to learn, I think everyone would love to learn all about WWT, what you do and the work that you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, great. So I'll take it from here. Today I'm going to give you an overview of our Wetland Learning Hub, which is, as I just said, our online learning platform, and how we use it to train conservation professionals worldwide. So just a little bit about WWT to start with, the Wildfowl Wetlands Trust. We are a UK-based conservation charity dedicated to protecting wetlands and the wildlife and communities that depend on them. So our vision is really a world where healthy wetlands thrive and enrich lives. And we are proud to be an international organization partner to the Ramsar Convention. That's a global treaty adopted in Ramsar, Iran in 1971. And it's dedicated to the conservation and wise use of wetlands through cooperation at local, national, and also international levels. And we support this convention by building capacity among wetland managers, policymakers, and local communities to promote sustainable wetland use worldwide. So our organization's strategic goals are really ambitious, but also of really high importance because we've lost 35% of wetlands worldwide between 1970 and 2015. So in the UK, we aim to create and restore 100,000 hectares of wetlands by 2050. And globally, we support locally led action to improve 1 million hectares of wetlands in key biodiversity hotspots. And we also seek to inspire and equip 25,000 conservationists with the skills to deliver impactful on-the-ground wetland conservation. So that's really where the Wetland Learning Hub comes in, by providing accessible training, resources, and also a global learning community to support conservationists in building the skills and knowledge that they need to make a real difference. So this map just illustrates WWT's global reach and the impact over the last 25 years. So the orange areas indicate our core geographic regions of work. In particular, we have offices in the Lower Mekong Delta in Cambodia, in Madagascar, and in the UK. The green dots represent members of Wetland Link International. That's a network of wetland centers worldwide that we host. And yellow areas show countries where WWT has completed conservation and education projects. And the map doesn't really include any of our research projects, which would even create a further reach. So we're really an international organization. And the Wetland Learning Hub has been established to contribute to our strategic goal of supporting these 25,000 conservationists worldwide to deliver impactful action for wetlands. So our objective was to create a dedicated learning space that could support early career professionals, career changers, but really anyone seeking further training to become more effective advocates and practitioners in wetland conservation. It focuses on capacity building for restoration and conservation of wetlands, as well as SEPA activities. So SEPA stands for communication, education, participation, and awareness, really trying to seek and inspire people to help us restore wetlands. And it also fosters a community of practice where practitioners can share experiences, exchange ideas, and learn from each other. And our initial focus for the Wetland Learning Hub is on our program countries and surrounding regions, key biodiversity hotspots and flyways. But we are trying to become a truly global initiative, reaching conservationists everywhere on the globe. So that's the vision for the Wetland Learning Hub. And now I'd like to just give you a short overview of our journey with it so far. So following an initial assessment of capacity needs, we launched an online pilot course in 2023 with 50 learners, and that received really strong engagement and positive feedback. So building on that success, we developed our customized learning platform with the help of Totara and support from Synergy Learning. And we're going to learn more about that from Jonathan in a minute. We refined the course content and secured funding from the UK's Darwin Initiative to deliver an open access foundation course in wetland health and vitality across 3 regions in Indo-Burma, West Africa, and Madagascar. And we've delivered these courses over the past 1.5 years. So by November this year, we had 192 learners that had successfully completed the online course. And thanks to funding from the Darwin Initiative, we were also able to run in-person courses for a subset of 15 participants from each region in collaboration with regional partners in these countries. And these face-to-face sessions really build on the knowledge and skills obtained in the online course and include practical fieldwork elements and also the opportunity to network and exchange knowledge between the practitioners. We've also created an online training of trainers course that equips participants with skills in presenting, training design, managing diverse audiences, and providing effective feedback to learners. So this course has been instrumental in preparing partner organization staff to deliver the in-person training course in our target regions. And we've also opened this course up to participants in our online course who work in training roles in their respective organizations, as well to a cohort of youth delegates that attended Ramsar COP in July this year. So that concludes the short overview of our journey so far. And before I delve into the details of the hub, I'd like to hand over to Jonathan, who will talk more about our partnership with Synergy Learning.
Well, thank you so much, Marie. That's very kind of you. My name is Jonathan Clark. I'm very pleased to be the account manager for WWT and Synergy Learning. They really are doing amazing work, not only in restoring and conserving wetlands, but they also do so many positive things for local communities and science research. I do actually live very close to the Arundel Wetland Centre on the south coast. That's me there in the bottom right. It is an absolutely beautiful place, and it's a brilliant day out, and I thoroughly recommend the guided boat tour if you go. I think for me, one aspect of this project that really stands out is the great use of collaboration and engagement. An observation that I have made in my time with learning systems is that sometimes they can be very one way. They kind of have a top-down approach, and it doesn't take into account the intended audience who also have expertise, experience, and insight to share. So what really comes across with this project is the respect that WWT have for their audience. And you can also see that through the use of a pilot project so that they can gather extensive feedback. The site uses our Spark theme from Synergy Learning to help provide a great user experience. And when we worked together on deployment, there were a number of consultancy sessions with us to help make sure that the launch was successful and to provide advice and expertise. We are very excited about future plans for the site, and we really look forward to continuing to support WWT in their work.
Thanks, John. I'll just say as well, very quickly, I've done a lot of these webinars this year and I've been very fortunate to go behind the scenes with a lot of people's platforms. But one of the things I would say is the Spark theme and obviously the photography on WWT makes the platform look really, really beautiful. So I think the team's done a great job there of making it look really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both. So yeah, I'm now going to jump into the details of the hub. So who is it for? Well, we believed initially that our focus would be early career wetland conservationists. We quickly realized that the demand was much wider, and course participants so far have included government officials, NGO and civil society staff, academics and researchers, as well as private sector practitioners such as consultants. So participants really join us from a wide range of backgrounds and also career stages, reflecting the need for accessible wetland-specific training. I'd like to just briefly share how we found our participants for the course. So we use WWT's well-established networks and contacts to reach our audience in the target regions. And key among these are Wetland Link International, which I briefly managed in the beginning. That's our network of wetland centers, and the World Wetland Network, which is a professional network of wetland conservationists that has particularly strong youth engagement. And in addition to these, we also actively collaborated with our partner organizations in the different target regions. So that was PRCM in West Africa and our country offices in Madagascar and Cambodia. And we encouraged them to share information about the courses with their own networks. So this multiplier effect was really essential for expanding our reach and recruiting participants for the courses. We also targeted online professional groups, particularly on LinkedIn, where many conservation professionals engage and share their knowledge. We found that there's a really large difference between the different target regions. So in Madagascar, LinkedIn is not widely used. So we additionally also explored the use of Facebook groups to connect with our audiences there. We did have the advantage that we were offering a free course. So we found that there was lots of interest and we actually ended up accepting many more participants on our courses than we had initially promised in our funding proposal. So that's been really great. Yeah, I'd like to just give you a short overview about our main course, so just that you get an idea of what we actually teach. It's comprised of 4 content modules that participants can complete in their own time within a period of 14 weeks. We did trial a shorter time period of 10 weeks for our last course in Madagascar, as we noticed that the completion rates really went up exponentially towards the end of the course. So people really worked towards deadlines, and we realized that the 10 weeks was actually sufficient. And here you can see the 4 modules that we have. We got a module on Introduction to Wetlands and Wetland Ecosystems. That includes lectures on different wetland types and classifications, the biodiversity of wetlands, pressures on wetlands, and specifically climate change there. Then we got a module on socioeconomic and cultural values of wetlands, giving an overview of provisioning, regulating, cultural and supporting services of wetlands, as well as an overview of poverty alleviation in the context of wetlands. Our third module is on wetland management and monitoring, and that gives insights into conservation planning for wetlands, both from multilateral environmental agreements all the way down to site-based planning tools, and also a look at different monitoring strategies for wetlands. And then our last module is focused on SEPA, which covers practical approaches to stakeholder engagement, education, participation, and public engagement. So how does this work in practice? We do have a website, it's wetlandlearninghub.org, and that provides information about our courses and the lecturers that provides information within them. It holds our application forms, and it's also there to just give news and updates on the course. So once we've selected participants, we move over to our online learning and capacity building platform that's hosted on Totara. So participants receive an email link, which allows them to self-enroll on the platform. We open the platform about a week before the course starts to allow participants to familiarize themselves with the platform, introduce themselves to other participants in the workspace, and ask any questions that they might have. We do also run a welcome meeting during this week to give an overview of the course and important dates, address any remaining technical challenges and questions, and also to create a community feeling among our cohort. So I'll talk a little bit more about those when we come to the engagement section of this talk. But after this week, the course then opens on the user dashboard. And as I mentioned previously, we have 4 modules which are laid out in a pathway format. So that means that participants need to finish the current module before they can access the next. And each module includes a mix of interactive, practical, and collaborative elements. So we got video lectures with pop-up quiz questions to keep learners' attention. We got pop-up case studies and links to recommended resources, practice quizzes and feedback polls. And then there's at the end of each module, there's a practical assignment that requires learners to apply their knowledge to a wetland of their choice. So they will go away with the knowledge that they've learned and then do something offline. So on a Word document or in a PowerPoint presentation, and then upload that result into a discussion forum where they can also comment on other people's work and receive feedback on their own. So at a minimum, it will be me giving feedback on each participant's work there. But we usually also have lots of participants commenting on each other's work. So that's really great to see. And then we have a final quiz to test the overall understanding of the course content. So on completion, participants then receive a customized certificate and are invited to join our LinkedIn alumni group to stay connected with their peers and also the Wetland Learning Hub. And we're also currently in the process of developing a resource hub on our website. So that will hold lots of best practice guides, relevant journal papers, links to other learning resources, and that will be open to all course graduates as well as other practitioners. So hopefully that will be live by April next year. And as you've heard before, we've had very different audiences. We've been working in Burma, West Africa, and Madagascar. So we had to adapt our courses to our target audiences. And we've been doing that by incorporating locally sourced case studies and region-specific lectures. So for example, in West Africa, we added an oil and gas lecture to the course because that's really relevant in the context of coastal communities there. We've been translating the course into French and Portuguese for learners in West Africa and Madagascar. And Totara's functionality of changing the platform language has been really helpful in this. It's still a lot of work to translate the content as well. So the videos, the text, that doesn't automatically get translated. If there was a feature in the future for AI translation, that would be great. But it's been really helpful to have the platform adjust automatically to the different languages. And we've also been hosting live seminars on Zoom and Microsoft Teams to promote peer learning and regionally relevant discussions. So that was facilitated through Totara's seminar booking tool, which is really useful because it can also keep track of attendance. And in our case, we had to select a subset of 15 participants that would go on to the in-person courses. So we really had to keep track of how our learners were doing on the platform because that was kind of our main criterion for selecting the in-person course participants. So the seminar tracking tool was really useful for us. And now I'd like to take you on a short tour of our online platform. And hopefully that will work well for me now. There's always a little bit of technical
it's going to be seamless, Mary.
Involved in that.
Right, I didn't manage to ask you before as well, but before you go on to there, I just want to know what it's like working with Synergy Learning as well as your partner.
Yeah, it's been really, really helpful to have the consultation sessions in the beginning. So I think when you start such a big new project, and the platform, it needs a little bit of working out where things are and things like that. But it's been really, really useful to have those consultation sessions and get the advice from someone. We had them pretty much every week for a while. And that was really helpful in setting up the platform. So yeah, we are really grateful for that support.
Thanks, Mary.
And I did find
it's coming. I can see
learning
something.
Platform now, so hopefully you can all see that.
We can see it.
Perfect. So this is our landing page. It just gives a short overview of the Wetland Learning Hub and then has links connected to our dashboards and workspaces. So that's also really where we mainly want our learners to be. And I'm just going to head to the dashboard now. So that's kind of, it should not have happened. This means there's going to be a lot more courses right now, but I'm just going to do it like this now. So this is where we have our courses. And this is our Wetland Health and Vitality course for West Africa. So as I said before, it's laid out in a pathway format, which means that the learners will have to complete the welcome module before they can move on to the next module and then to the next module. So I'm just going to go into module 1 right now because that gives a really good overview of what our modules look like. But for learners, this wouldn't be an option until they've fully completed the previous modules. So the way our modules are laid out is we always have a quick welcome to the new module, and we just give an overview of what learners can expect within this module, the different topics that they can expect. And what we always do as well, which is really important, is we give recommended due dates. So that doesn't mean that the course will close on that date. It just means that we would like our learners to complete this module by a certain date. Because we have a course that is relatively long, 10 weeks, it's really important that people kind of move along as they go, because it can be really difficult to try and complete the course like in the last week. So we do give these dates at all times, and we also set up notifications kind of on the back end that will send automatic email reminders to people a week before, a day before, and also reminders that their modules are due once they're passed. So the moment they actually complete the module, those notifications will stop. But that's been really helpful for us, and I can see that the completion rates go up when the email notifications go out. So it's definitely something to set up if you are interested in like moving your learners along. We do have a chat that learners can use to just chat about that specific module. People need to be online at the same time for that one. So it's not our main engagement space, but we do have it here just in case people would want to talk while they're doing the course. And then we have our different topics, and they're always laid out in the same way. So again, we got a short introduction to the module. So that's just going to introduce the topic. There's going to be a link to the lecturer here, so they can read up on the bio of the lecturer if they want to. And then next is going to be the lecture. So we use H5P videos. So rather than setting up a page, we use this interactive video tool to make our lectures a little bit more engaging. So what that allows us to do, and you can see that here, is wherever you see these little circles and dots, that's where we have pop-ups on our videos. So what that does is if the video is running, and I'm just going to play that for you, the video will, I hope it will come, but the video will automatically stop once it reaches one of these pop-up windows.
Thanks, Mary. In the chat as well, if anyone else is using H5P or you're interested in learning more about H5P, feel free to comment in the chat as well. Mary, it wouldn't be a live demo if it didn't buffer.
Yeah, it's on a bit slow right now.
That's fine.
There we go. So the video automatically stopped. It says click here. And I'm going to click on this, and it's going to be a question that refers to something the lecturer has literally just said like a minute or two ago. And it's just kind of there to test that people are actually still engaged and listening to the video. So in this case, it's going to be 172 countries that have signed the Convention on Wetlands. And then I can check that. And I mean, I've said these, but this is the idea that people get something interactive to do while the videos goes on. And we had really positive feedback from learners. They absolutely love these. We also have links. So these are the smaller dots. For these, the lecture won't stop. So the person is going to keep talking, but they're going to be displayed for a while. So if I'm really interested in learning more about the IUCN and habitats classification, I can click on this link and it's going to open up in a second tab. That just allows us to give more information, and we also sometimes do that with case studies as well. Then we do have topic quizzes. I'm not going to show you these in detail right now, but basically what they do is people will get a lot of practice questions, and we do have a final quiz at the end that comes after all the topics have been done. And basically, if you've passed all your topic quizzes, there's not going to be any surprises in that final quiz anymore. So that means you will have seen that question at some point before. So what we're trying to do with these practice quizzes is just get people to think about these questions, maybe go back into the lectures. There's no passing grade for that. But once they come to the final module, there's a passing grade of 80%. So but hopefully by that point, they will have practice with these other quizzes so that they don't have any difficulties in passing the final quiz. And then one thing that we do that we find really, really useful is Totara's feedback modules. So this one has already been submitted once, but I'm still going to do it again. So we do have really elaborate reporting requirements, and we use surveys at the start, at the end of each course. And but what we also do is we want to improve our courses consistently. So this allows us to get feedback on this specific topic and this specific lecturer. And we just ask one question in this case to not take too much time away from people. And in this case, is the level of this topic appropriate for a foundation course? And then people can select their answer, submit it, and we get like dedicated feedback directly on the content that has been displayed right before. So that's a really useful tool for us to get like specific feedback on sections of the course. Yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to show you here today. Unfortunately, I can't go into the discussion forums because of GDPR, but basically there's going to be lots of engagement and interaction. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that so that you get an idea once we end this platform tour. And the last thing that we always do as well is we, again, tell people what comes next. So we never leave people kind of hanging with like something's done now. We tell them what comes next. And we again state our completion dates as well, the recommended ones, just to keep people on track. So I'm going to stop sharing here right now, unless there's specific questions on the platform right now.
No specific questions at the moment, but yeah, thanks so much for taking us behind the scenes in the platform there. Also, it's great that you have so many beautiful photos that you can use for your courses as well.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that we got good photographers in the organization. So I'm gonna go back to the presentation. Bear with me.
We can see it perfectly, Mary. That
You can see it.
a seamless transition.
That worked. Yeah, so as I've just said, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we engage our participants throughout the course. And our main tool for doing that is the Totara Engage workspaces. So this is a discussion space that really forms the heart of the page and that we use for course announcements. So, for example, reminders of the recommended completion dates, introductions, questions by participants, lessons learned shared by participants, linked to external resources. So we found that this space is used in very different ways by different cohorts. Some cohorts are really active in it. So all it takes is one prompt to introduce themselves in the discussion group, and people start talking about wetlands that they both worked on or topics that they work like on that are very similar. So that's always great when that happens. Unfortunately, not every cohort is that active in the beginning. And in some cohorts, this is really hard. And I've even started asking people about their favorite wetland animals. In the hope that like cute otters and colorful birds will get people commenting. It does work actually, but it really depends on your cohort and the people in it. And what we found is that it's really important what happens right at the beginning of the course. So that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the time on the course. And if you get people to start commenting in that workspace early and using that for questions and introducing themselves, the likelihood that they will keep using that workspace is much, much higher. In the best cases, you get helpers. So those I call participants that actually answer other participants' questions, even the technical questions. So that's really great for me because it also means that I get a lot less emails to our like email address to deal with technical queries or also content questions. And what I always do is I always show participants that their contributions are valued. So by, sending like big thank you messages, and, trying to like, even like maybe link someone in, that's a way that you can get the conversation going. And it's amazing when you have these people that actually take your questions and your work away. So, that's like my favorite, moment when that happens. We've also been providing courses, for speakers of different languages, as I mentioned earlier. So in West Africa, we actually had 3. We had English, French, and Portuguese. So in this case, we also created additional workspaces in the respective languages to remove the barriers of potentially not understanding what a previous participant has said. We kept the joint workspace where we would make announcements in 3 languages. But then most of the interaction was actually happening in the language-specific forums. And we had staff from partner organizations that were actually monitoring these workspaces. Because I do not speak French or Portuguese. So that's been really helpful as well, and also to bring in the partner organization more and make them feel they're also part of the online course and not just the in-person courses that they were later providing in their respective countries. Apart from being a discussion space, the workspaces also include a library. that holds additional resources. And the great aspect of this library is that resources can be added continuously. So for example, one thing that we store in this library are all our recorded seminars. So if people can't make it to the live seminar, they have the option to access the recorded seminar a couple of days later. We've also shared presentations prepared by participants on the in-person courses to make sure that people that couldn't attend those in-person courses because we only had 15 spaces actually still got some value out of the information that was shared in these courses. So it's really our main tool for interaction, and I can highly recommend it to anyone thinking about setting up a learning community online, because that's really where the engagement happens. As I mentioned before, we also started all our courses with a welcome meeting, or 3 in the case of West Africa, 1 in each language. And that's really valuable in welcoming participants and creating a feeling of belonging and community. So we always include a networking session with breakout rooms where people have the chance to talk to each other and form connections. And we also encourage people to form study groups. We do not actively administer these, but our post-course surveys have shown that participants do form them and find them really helpful. So that's great when people organize themselves kind of outside of the online course as well. Throughout the course, we offer live seminars. Usually those are interactive Q&A sessions with experts on module topics. We always include short networking sessions in those as well, again, to make people feel more part of a cohort rather than just an individual learner. We did run a photo competition for the Indo-Burma cohort. The reason being that there wasn't much engagement in the beginning. It was our first course, and it was really slow, and we were kind of worried that we weren't getting the engagement that we needed and the completion rates that we would need. So we ran a competition called One is a Wetlands and asked people to share photos related to that topic, and people loved it. So we had lots of images of beautiful otters, landscapes, people commented on them, and it was just great to see so many great photography displayed. The winner and runner-up photos were then displayed at the IOP stall at the Ramsar COP as well, so people got a platform for their work, which was great. And the last thing I would like to mention here again is I did mention that we have a LinkedIn alumni group. So that space allows people to stay in contact and, exchange information, share about other courses that might be useful, run by other organizations. And we do run a subgroup for women in wetland conservation as well, just to create a network and support that women might need in the space.
Mary, sorry, could I just ask a couple of quick questions on workspaces?
Yeah.
So Brendan's got a few questions here. I'll also just note that Totara Engage was a product that people could buy before, and now it's workspaces are part of Totara Learn. So anyone who's using Totara should be able to access workspaces soon if you've not already upgraded to a more recent version. But also just to say, Brendan wants to know if the workspaces are course-based. So are they organized via audiences or groups or cohorts? How do you put a group of people into a workspace, Mary?
So the functionality allows for either, really. You can do it by audience, but we create them specifically for our course. So if in Indo-Burma we had one English-speaking course and we had one workspace, that would basically be the same audience that we would enroll in the course as well. But you could, in theory, enroll, like the audience from the Madagascar course and the West Africa course in the same workspace if you wanted to do so. It's just that we chose to have them like course specific and also language specific in West Africa. So there wasn't just one workspace, there were actually 4 for the same course that was running during that time in different languages.
Thanks, Mary. The other quick question just from Brendan was, what do you use for the seminars? I think you mentioned before you use Teams and Zoom. Is that correct for your seminars?
Yeah, so we actually moved from Teams, which is kind of our organization, general software, to Zoom because it allows for AI translation. So we did have a few seminars where we had French and English speaking experts, and we're trying to make that available to everyone. We did trial the AI translation. It's not perfect, but it allowed us to run a seminar with people in different languages, and that's why we moved to Zoom. And we run that through the booking tool on the Totara. So there's going to be a link that people can access through the booking on the seminar tool in the Totara platform. And then we go to an external platform for the seminar.
Thanks, Ray. These are all the questions.
Okay. Moving on to monitoring and evaluation. So we have really detailed reporting requirements for our fund day, and that kind of shapes our monitoring and evaluation. So we use pre and post course surveys, which take about 10 to 15 minutes to complete to evaluate our courses. Again, they're integrated into the course, but they are run on Microsoft Forms. So there's going to be a link that people will need to click in the course to do that. And anything that we have in those questionnaires is really directly linked to the indicators of success as laid out in our funding proposal. So that's kind of what we have to do for like our funders. And then, as I already mentioned and showed you before, we use feedback for individual topics, which is just 1 or 2 questions in the platform itself to get more specific feedback for us that we kind of need to improve our courses. We also use the reporting tools of Totara quite a bit. So the reports function in Totara allows you to get completion records for individual modules as well as full courses. It tracks the engagement in online workspaces, so it shows the number of posts that have been made, the number of replies. So that's really, really useful in getting metrics. Obviously, you also want to know what people have said, but it's really nice to see, generally speaking, how your workspaces are doing. And finally, we also run feedback sessions with our partner organizations via video calls. So these sessions allow us to learn about how the process worked of actually setting up the online course with our partner organizations and any feedback that they might have had from learners that didn't directly go to us. So that's really useful for us as well. So feedback is really vital for us, and I can only advise anyone starting to think about monitoring and evaluation at the same time that you're setting up your course and not after, because it's really important to build that in right from the start. So just an example of what we have done, for example, is based on the feedback that we received in the first course, we've added a Wonders of Wetlands video at the start of Module 1 to kind of ease learners into the topic, because it did start right away with like a very specific wetland classification video, and we just wanted everyone to like embrace wetlands and, you know, enjoy being on the course a little bit more and give like a little bit of a softer start. And we've also added a lot more pop-up quizzes, these H5Ps that I mentioned before, because learners absolutely love them and they wanted more of it. So that's just 2 examples of things that we've kind of adapted on the go. And yeah, what has been the impact of the course so far? So I'd like to share some insights from our evaluation of the Indo-Burma cohort, which ran from October 2024 to March this year. And that's based on our pre and post course surveys. So we had 87 learners from 51 organizations complete the course, about 48% of them female, and 100% of the respondents said that there was a positive impact on their level of knowledge in the theory of wetland conservation, and also 86% said that they reported a positive impact on their ability to deliver actual practical wetland conservation on the ground. And 79% had shared information or learning from the course with other people, particularly their colleagues and within their own organization. So that's been really positive. I do also have 2 quotes from learners. I know that the time is kind of getting short, but I'm just going to read one of them, the one on the right, because it's just really demonstrating the impact that the course had. The most significant change has been gaining a deeper, more practical understanding of wetland conservation and how to apply it in real-world scenarios. I feel much more equipped to contribute to actual conservation efforts, whether it's through better planning, engaging with local communities, or implementing strategies to protect and restore wetlands. This has greatly increased my confidence in my ability to make a tangible impact in the field. So that's really nice when you get that from a feedback survey. We're really pleased with that one. We do also have some numbers on our Madagascar and West Africa courses already. They only finished last month, so we don't have the whole survey results yet. But we did have another combined 105 learners that completed those courses, which we're really pleased with. And following our success in those 3 regions, where we've trained a total of 192 learners and had 50 of them also joining in-depth practical training courses, face-to-face sessions in the different countries. We are now looking to expand the Wetland Learning Hub as international reach. And we've seen that the demand is far beyond what we can currently deliver, and we're seeking support and partnerships to help us scale up and offer more courses. So what does that look in detail? So we really believe that the Wetland Learning Hub is really well positioned to support wetland restoration at scale. We have a scalable and proven model of delivering accessible wetland-specific training that can address capacity barriers in different regions. And we really like that Totara gives us the flexibility to integrate new modules with existing course content and also add local case studies to make the course content regionally relevant. So that's really helpful for us, this modular layout. We also found that the translation on the platform worked really well, which allows us to run parallel courses in different languages and making it available to more conservationists. And looking ahead, we are actively seeking additional funding to expand our courses into new regions, particularly Southern Africa and Central and South America. And reaching these areas will really help to also reach our other strategic goals of helping to improve 1 million of hectares of wetlands worldwide. So alongside this, we are developing a global paid-for version of the course at the moment, which we are aiming to launch early next year. So this version will allow us to sustain and grow the Wetland Learning Hub while also opening up the course to a wider international audience, particularly in developed countries. And finally, we are really excited about the opportunity to design and deliver new modules and courses for the platform. And one of our first areas of work at the moment is exploring urban wetlands as there's increasing demand for that as cities expand and the focus on nature-based solutions grows. So yeah, if you would like to learn more about the hub or our courses, you can head to our website and you can see the address there, or follow us on LinkedIn. So yeah, thank you very much for your attention.
Mary, thanks so much for taking us behind the scenes today. It's such a, like I say, it's such a beautiful platform, and congratulations to you and to Synergy Learning for building such a great platform on top of Totara. If anyone does have any final questions, feel free to post them in the chat or in the Q&A. We can answer them. Everyone's saying that was really interesting. Thank you. Thanks, Dan. So the other question I was going to ask, Mary, again, was, so sometimes we have maybe NHS trusts or other industries, and they also struggle to promote the platform. And one of the things you talked about on an earlier slide was just marketing the platform. I don't know if you could just mention that again, some of the strategies you use to market the platform to make sure people are aware that the platform is available.
So we are really lucky in that we kind of run some networks, international networks already within the organization. So WELI Network and WWN. And we were really fortunate to use these existing networks that come with newsletters, their own websites, and things like that, so that we could kind of tap into these networks to like advertise this course. That's kind of been our main reach. And then also what we've done a lot is we collaborate a lot with organizations worldwide. So if we had contacts in the target area, for example, in Cambodia, we would also, email our contacts with a little brochure of the course and just ask them to share that with the networks, and that worked really well for us as well, kind of using our contacts as a multiplier effect, because we can only post, about this course so much and share it in so many places. So we've really been relying on other people helping us to share and spread the word about it.
Yeah, great to hear you're going to make a course that people can buy in the future as well to help the ROI of the platform. And also, Brendan's just asking a quick question. How long did it take to build the platform, or from conception to launch? You can do a finger in the air, Mary. It doesn't have to be perfect timing, but roughly.
I joined when the platform was already there and when we were just starting to set it up. So I think the discussions about that would have probably been already like a year before to have the project plan. So the pilot was in 2023 and I joined in summer 2024. So about a year, I think. And that's when we were building the platform and then launched in October. So maybe a year and a half from like concept planning to actually having the platform. I think actually just setting up the platform is possible within a few months if you really put your mind to it. But in terms of, the wider idea of the Wetland Learning Hub, that's about as long as it took, yeah.
Great, thank you. So yeah, a couple of months. John, did you want to come in on that one?
Oh, no, just to echo that, the notes here show that it was 3 months from start to finish. But as has been discussed, that there was a lot more that happened before then. But the physical delivery was about 12 weeks.
Thanks, John. Another question from Stephen, just asking, do you use H5P questions or the Totara quiz activity for assessments or quizzes? So like perhaps at the end of a course, Mary, what do you do to assess learners' knowledge?
So the H5Ps we only use to kind of keep people engaged, so they're not like graded at all. So if you don't get any of them, that's okay, you just pass. But we do have a final module quiz that people need to get 80% on, and that will include questions that have already been practiced in the practice quizzes.
Great, thank you. It was also great to see those workspaces. And I don't know, John, if you had any final sort of thoughts on the platform or things that you're proud of for working with Mary and the team as well.
No, I would just echo the fact that when you engage with your learner audience and you use a tool like workspaces to do it's a much more engaging way of conducting the learning. And I think if people are interacting with each other as well as the course owner, it's a more in-depth learning experience. So I would just really say it's a brilliant job of engaging the audience rather than being very dictatorial and talking down to them. So yes, that I think really comes across. There is always a great deal of expertise and experience in the local area, and one should tap into that as well.
Yeah, and like you said, Mary, as well, sometimes you might have like a cohort that's perhaps a bit more lurkers. People are just sort of watching and waiting, and then actually they do need a little prompt. So, for example, your prompts with post your favorite pictures, and then you get people talking, and they feel actually I can be involved in this, and I do have a voice here. I think that element of social learning as well. Like some people feel very natural in in digital spaces and feel like they can talk, and some people don't, and they need a little bit of prompting. So it's great that you've already sorted that out, Mary, and you're getting people to come and talk and interact with each other in that sort of natural way. Okay. Did anyone have any final thoughts, Mary or John? Anything you'd like to say just as we conclude the session today? No? Okay.
But I would say this: definitely go and support your local wetland.
Yeah, so I need to come and see you in Arundel, don't I,
Go and
John?
visit them, go and rent some binoculars, go on a boat trip, and then you'll be having fun and also supporting a very vital part of the world's ecosystem.
Yeah, I look forward. We should go together, John, like you mentioned, in Arundel. That'd be good.
Okay, well, it can be your treat this time then.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah, my children would love to go on the boat ride as well, so that sounds
It's very
great.
good. Yes,
Yeah.
it's really good fun.
Okay, well, thanks so much again, Mary and John, for taking us behind the scenes today. It's an incredibly important project, so thank you so much for showcasing it to us. And like I say, it looks really beautiful, and love the pedagogical elements that you've put into the platform as well. I'm sure everyone can take different lessons from this. So again, thank you so much for your time and for going behind the scenes. It's been great to learn from you.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was great to be here with all of you. And if you have any questions about the Wetland Learning Hub, you can also email us at wetlandlearninghub at org.uk.
Thanks, Mary. And thanks, John. You're getting some really interesting thank you. Not everyone can see all the comments coming in, but we're seeing lots of comments. So really interesting thank you. Merry Christmas. It's the 10th of December, but I think we are getting there, aren't we? It's nearly there. Thank you, Mary, for the insights. Brilliant. Thank you. So yeah, lots of really positive feedback for you today, Mary. And John, thank you so much for your time. It's been great to see it, and look forward to your continued success. Thanks, everyone. I'll finish there for
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.